This sports broadcast made possible by contributions from the following. Bear Family McDonald's, proud supporters of our community since 1967. Custom Heating and Cooling of Chicagoland, a factory authorized Bryant dealer, whatever it takes. Find them online at customheating.com. Rosen Hyundai of Algonquin, looking for a brand new Hyundai or certified pre-owned? Save time, shop online at rosenhyundai.com. Tom the Plumber is your family-owned and operated company committed to providing plumbing service and installations of the highest quality and craftsmanship. Tom the Plumber, honest and affordable. Visit Tom online at tomtheplumberinc.com. Carpentry with Integrity, providing unparalleled customer relationships and precise quality craftsmanship since 1998. Find us on Facebook and House. Darrell Barnes Photography. For sports, senior portraits, family, and more, call Darrell Barnes Photography for all your photographic needs. Find Derryl online at darrellbarnes.com. Buffalo Wild Wings. Visit their locations in Algonquin and Hoffman Estates for some award-winning wings spun in one of 21 sauces or dry rubs. Or try a tasty burger or wrap. There's something for everyone at Buffalo Wild Wings in Hoffman Estates at Route 59 and 72 or Algonquin on Randall Road. This sports broadcast made possible
and we're live
by
here from South Elgin High School here on a very cold Friday, October night. I'm Andy Jachim. I'll soon be joined by Darrell Barnes here as we have a matchup between the Glenbard South Raiders and the South Elgin Storm tonight. It is homecoming here at South Elgin High School. Homecoming will be taking place tomorrow. And we had ourselves a pep rally today. It was a lot of fun, and we do have some highlights that we will be showing here in a little bit. We welcome you in from wherever you're watching. Once again, I'm Andy Jachim alongside my partner who will be joining me here shortly, Darrell Barnes. And we have our matchup tonight between the South Elgin Storm and the Glenbard South Raiders. A quick run through of the visitors, the Glenbard South Raiders. Coming into this game with a record of 5-1, they're coached by Ryan Chrissy. Their previous game, they had a nice 24-point win, 44-20 over Fenton. Their only loss this season has been the Bartlett Hawks, who the Storm will take on next week. And the upcoming games for the Raiders will be next Friday, crosstown rivalry at Glenbard East. And they will finish off the season with their senior night on the 25th against West Chicago. Now for the Storm, they are 6-0 on the season, coached by Dragan Tionic. Last game was a 48-0 win over Larkin. And the big story for the Storm this year has been their 335 points that they've put on the board to an opponent's 7. They've only allowed one touchdown through 6 games this year, absolutely dominating the Upstate 8 Conference. And their upcoming games next Friday, they will also have their rivalry game at Bartlett High School. It should be a good one. And then they close up their season on senior night, October 25th, against Fenton here. So with the new stadium and the new lights, South Elgin still has 2 more games here at home. This one, the homecoming game, and then senior night on the 25th. Now, the weather will play a factor here tonight. It is definitely one of the coldest nights we've had in a very long time. And for the Storm's sake, expect to see a lot of the run game that they produce with their 4 main guys, Marquise Gillespie, Corvée King, Davion Sherwin, and Jachim Marshall. Like I said, Jachim Marshall, playmaker on both sides of the ball, as we will now rise for the national anthem. With that being said, national anthem done. We're getting closer and closer to some football here on Friday night, as here come the South Elgin Storm. I mentioned this is homecoming week. It's a very late homecoming in the season here for us at South Elgin High School. Usually our homecoming is within the last couple weeks of September. This year, second weekend of October, no big deal. We just have our homecoming game toward the end of the season. And it's a good time for the Storm. Like I mentioned, they're 6-0 in the season with an absolutely outstanding defense in the offense. Relieved of a little bit of pressure. We'll see what happens tonight here at Glenbard East, like I mentioned, or Glenbard South. They already played Glenbard East. They took care of Glenbard East 35-7 a couple weeks ago. Glenbard South, like I mentioned, coming in with a 5-1 record. So a team within this conference that could represent a challenge here for South Elgin. However, the Upstate 8 hasn't played the part of its usual strong conference self, due to the fact that over the past couple years they've lost some powerhouses, including the St. Charles East Saints, the St. Charles North Stars, the Geneva Vikings, and the Batavia Bulldogs a couple years back. And then this season was the first season without the West Aurora Blackhawks in a very, very long time, as South Elgin did have their troubles with West Aurora last year, losing to them back-to-back weekends to finish the season. And then first round of the playoffs, South Elgin also drew West Aurora and lost there. But nonetheless, the Storm, they're playing the mantra, you play who you put in front of us. That's the team they're being. That's the role they're playing this year, and they can't control who they go out and play. They play who they put in front of them. They've done a very good job of taking care of business. Still have 2 more weeks of business left to go, including the next 2 key matchups between Glenbard South and Bartlett. And for rivalry week, it doesn't matter how good or how bad the other teams are. It's going to be the biggest game of the season for this team. But nonetheless, South Elgin, running in with their sophomore quarterback in Ben Karpowitz, who's had a very good season, as has pretty much everyone on the entire offense. And I'm going to make has been widely requested, my pick to click today, my guy to watch out for, and it has to be Jachim Marshall, who in the last game that we called here against Elgin, which was the opener, he had 2 picks, kick return touchdown to start the game, and also a rushing touchdown. So he's a playmaker on both sides of the ball. Expect to see number 19 be called out a lot tonight. And it appears that South Elgin will be receiving the ball to start the game. On the Glenbard South side, they're running with a senior quarterback, Nick Plasso. He's 6'2", 184. Expect to see number 12 be called a lot under center for the Raiders. As we're moments away here from kickoff, it'll be Nathan Jennings, a junior punter. Will be sending it off to the Storm to start this one. And we are underway. Taken out. That would be Jachim Marshall. Broken multiple tackles and nowhere to go. He'll be spun out of bounds near the South Elgin 40, where Ben Karpowitz and the offense will set up shop here for their first drive of the night. It'll be 1st and 10 from Storm 35. One in motion. Carpwood's handoff to Sherwin. And Davion will be wrapped up for a gain of 1. And now entering the booth, putting his saxophone down, and he's getting ready to join me will be Mr. Darrell Barnes, as he will be on the headset here in a minute.
How's it going, Andy?
How we doing, Derryl?
We are doing well. It is
to have you
Homecoming
here.
Friday.
Yes, sir. It's very exciting. Very cold, though.
Yeah.
I will say.
Well, I'll say it's a lot warmer up here than it was down there on the field.
Yeah, but you got your is that a band studio yours warm? Got some heaters in there.
So for warm games, it's a little too hot, and for cold games, it's not as warm as you would like it to be.
We got 2nd down. Carpowitz pitching it over to Corvée King. Corvée shakes a couple tackles, so it'll be about 3rd and long here for the Storm. So we were talking about how the Raiders are coming into this game with a 5-1 record. Definitely going to be one of the more representing challenges of a team this year for South Elgin. And we keep mentioning how red hot that Storm defense is. They've only allowed 1 touchdown all season. Remember last time we were talking in the booth that they hadn't allowed a single point, and still only a touchdown for them.
Yep, and last week was a big challenge for them. You know, that was they played Glenbard East, I believe, correct?
Yeah, Glenbard East was one of the more recent matchups they had, and they actually scored on them.
Yeah, and that was another undefeated team that they were going up against, and the Storm really went in there and took care of business.
Harpos drops back, finds Kalen Garau.
Where
Very close to the 1st down mark. We'll see where they mark it.
And it looks like they're moving the chains. It looks like they're calling that a 1st down.
And a successful conversion on 3rd and long for the Storm will result in a new change of downs for him. And we did see sophomore quarterback Ben Carpwoods drop back in the first possession. We mentioned with it being a cold weather game, both teams shouldn't be putting as much pressure on their quarterback. Should be more of a simplified game plan. And with how good of a rushing attack South Elgin has, it only makes sense. But they're going to let their guys throw it. This Carpwoods tipped out of Garau's hands, almost picked off to John McKinney, defensive back for Glenbard South, and that'll be 2nd and 10 from the Storm's 47.
Yeah, and against a team like South Elgin, that's the play that Glenbard South may want back and coming later in the game if it's a close game.
Any mistakes that the Storm make, Glenbard South and any other team who plays South Elgin this year needs to capitalize on, because it's a team so far this season that's made very few mistakes. As Carpwitz drops back again. Scanning, plenty of time, fires across the field. That'll be to Marquise Gillespie, who puts his shoulder down and gets him to around the 30 of Glenbard South. Right into Raider territory they go. And I guess forget my idea of them ground pound today. I guess they're gonna let Carpowitz sling it a little bit, which I'm not opposed to.
Man, Andy, it seems like we're always wrong with our predictions here. Last time against Elgin, we thought that, what was it? We thought that they were going to put the other quarterback in, and they
never did.
Yeah.
And then we always would, 4th down, we'd always say, are they going to punt it? Are they going to go for it? We were wrong every time. And Carpowitz fakes the pitch, looking for a man, slinging it in and out of the hands of Gillespie. So South Elgin, right off the bat, they're trying to make big plays here to start off in their first drive. And rolling the dice with some of these play calls is Coach Tionic. I wouldn't even say it's rolling the dice. It's stuff that's worked out so well for South Elgin all season.
Yeah, but this is the first time we've really seen, at least at home, we've seen an extensive drive with a lot of passing plays.
Yeah, they're trying to. Yeah, I agree. They're definitely trying to milk every drive for what they can, because we don't know what Glenbard South's going to bring on the offensive side of the ball. I mentioned they did beat Fenton by 24 points last week, as this pitch goes out to Alex Nawarro. And he looks to move the chains and put the Storm in the red zone for the first time this evening on their first drive.
Yep, and that's just typical Storm offense right there. That's what they've been priding themselves on all season. Simple pitch and runs, and working out for them on this drive.
Just not trying to make things too complicated. It's not what it has to be, especially in the types of games that they're running with right now. As it'll be 1st and 10 from the 19.
Let's see if Glenbard South puts a little pressure on sophomore quarterback Ben Karpowitz.
The Corvée King in motion. They're going to give it to him. Looking along the edge. That's probably about a healthy, I'd say, 5 or 6 yard gain from up here.
Yeah, I would say about 6.
See where they spot it. Oh, they're going to give him way more.
Well, obviously that's why they're the refs and we're not.
And that's about an 8 or 9 yard gain. Man, we were like 3 yards off there. That's what you get for being all the way up here. But, hey, you know what I say? I think the booth is a lot warmer than on the field and everywhere else in the stadium right now. I think we should be lucky at the moment.
Yeah, we definitely got the best seats in the house tonight.
King in motion again. Karpowitz going to take it himself. Still pushing near the goal line. I think they're going to mark him just short.
Yeah, he reached for it, but I don't think his arms were quite long enough to get that one. And
they're going to put him about around the 1, if not like inches from the goal line. Seeing this T formation that they're setting up in, it's been the main formation they've used so far in this first drive. King in motion. Karpowitz just going to take it himself, and he's in for a Storm touchdown.
Yup, and the Storm line really made it easy for him right there. They just created the hole, and Karp was able to just slip right through there easily.
And after the first couple runs in this drive where Glenbard South looked like they had the Storm right where they wanted him, they were able to convert that 3rd and long on that pass play from Karpowitz to Garau, and then it seemed like smooth sailing from there as the Storm cruised their way to the end zone for their first score of the night on their first drive. And now senior kicker Drew Buccaro will look to knock the extra point through to make it 7-0. And he does just that. So now we will be seeing quarterback Nick Plasso in the Glenbard South offense for the first time this evening, barring any big exceptions on this kickoff here from South Elgin, which wouldn't be surprised if somebody makes a play, knocks the ball loose, something can happen. But barring any of that, we will see the Glenbard South offense here in a brief moment. As, like I mentioned, Ryan Christie's team has done pretty well this year, 5-1 record. Their lone loss was to the Bartlett Hawks, and it was not a pretty one. They lost 49-14 toward the beginning of the season. So that should give the Storm something to look forward to next week, with next week being rivalry week at Bartlett High School.
Yep, the Storm will definitely be trying to bring back the rivalry belt to South Elgin. We had it 5 straight years in a row, took it to South Elgin, but last year they got the best of us.
Last year on one of our Saturdays, we didn't have the lights last year. Jonah O'Brien and the Bartlett Hawks came into Storm territory and won it was a very entertaining game last year, I will say. A lot of back and forth seesaw battle, and that's something that we haven't really seen a lot of this year, and I guess in a good way from South Elgin, is they've played their opponents very, very well. So that should be a breath of fresh air in terms of competitiveness for Coach Tionic and his group next week, getting ready for the playoffs that are coming up soon, which you should see the Storm seated high as long as they keep riding this train that they're on at the moment. As ball blew off the tee there, I do believe. And we'll look to do it again here.
Yeah, but like you were saying, the Storm have really been doing a good job of taking care of business when they've been going on the road and here at home, just on both the offensive and defensive side of the field. We talk about the defense all the time. You know, they've only given up 7 points all season, but, you know, the offense has done a really good job.
And Buccaro will boot this one all the way back to the end zone. So we'll see the Storm go to work here. Or not the Storm, the Raiders, I should say. We'll see the Storm defense go to work here, which has been the staple of their team this season, Darrell.
Yep, and I want to note just off that touchback, Drew Buccaro has been posting a lot about his touchbacks. You know, that's a number that he's been taking pride in this year.
He has been. He's been posting his touchbacks, his extra point percentage. He's made a lot of them. They haven't needed him to kick a lot of field goals because, well, this team puts the ball in the end zone a lot. And also, I do believe Drew scored against Larkin last week. I do believe he scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like an offensive touchdown where he set up at tight end.
Yep, showing he's more than just a kicker.
More than just a kicker. Kickers are people, too. Indeed, they are. As it'll be 1st and 10 from the Storm 20 here. He's got a man in motion. Finding and in and out of the hands of Trevor Burnett. Be from Nick Plaza.
Like good pursuit of the ball there by the Storm defense, just making Nick Plaza feel a little bit uncomfortable where he had to throw a ball with a little bit too much on it for his receiver.
And that's something this front seven's done a great job for South Elgin this year, is very scary front seven. You know, guys have put a lot of fear into quarterbacks' eyes. As in this possession, Plaza got Burnett this time, and he'll be taken down by a couple defenders.
Yep, looking like a solid gain of 5.
I do believe senior Sammy Robles was in on the tackle, and that'll set up 3rd and manageable here for the Raiders.
Yep, and we have to note that it's homecoming. Sammy Robles on the homecoming court.
He is on the homecoming court. I did see that today at the assembly. We were talking about that earlier. The pep rally was. Were you at the? Yeah, you were at the pep rally, right? Yeah, pep rally was a lot of fun today. I will say that. It was entertaining to say the least. We had a little bit of everything. Plasso drops back, looking, finding time. He's going to take off for it, and he is going to be guided out of bounds, well short of the first down. So, with an early decision, we'll see what Coach Ryan Chrissy does here. Now, we're terrible at calling this, but I will say it would make, early in the game, it would make the most sense to send the ball away back in your own territory, because the last thing you want to give the Storm offense is great field position.
And it looks like for once, unless they're faking us out, we may be correct.
It's looking pretty good for us right now. This is 4th and 3 from the 27. And Davion Sherwin back around the 45-yard line. Oh, botched. Almost dropped the snap. That's a good punt there by the Raiders. Going to take a friendly bounce. And it's going to roll out of bounds. That was a great punt by Jeremy Gelino of the Raiders. Took a nice Sunday bounce for about 25 yards.
Yep. Caught Davion Sherwin off guard, sorry. Lost the word for a second. Yeah, caught him off guard. Went over his head. He had to run back for it.
And now it'll be Storm are going to set up, I believe, around their own 15-yard line. So this would be an 85-yard drive. Here is math is serving me correct to get to the end zone again, which don't be surprised if that's what the Storm end up doing.
Yep, but we can't discredit this Glenbard South defense just yet. We have to see what they're made of.
T formation, man in motion. That'd be Marquise Gillespie. As he's going to take off. He's got a hole. And Marquise got the 30, the 20, the 10, and he's in. Touchdown, Storm.
Well, of course, Andy, you called it. First thing you said was it's going to be an 85-yard drive, and don't be surprised if the Storm make it in the end zone. And look what happened.
Right on the nose is Marquise Gillespie, an 85-yard rush, or I believe it was a rush, to the end zone for a Storm touchdown. And, well, that makes life pretty easy on everyone on the Storm side.
Yep.
As it's now 13-0, and just like that, that defense can go back to work right away. That didn't give the Raiders offense much time to sit and talk and plan about things, as Coach Christie didn't get a lot of time to talk to his offense on how to go about the next drive. And just like that, Drew Bacaro boots one through. It is 14-0 with 6:22 remaining here in the first quarter.
And already, it's a good start to the first Friday night homecoming game here at South Elgin High School.
It's a first for everything this year. It'll be, like I mentioned, the first game with lights, first homecoming with lights, and then in a couple weeks it'll be the first senior night with lights, which will be awesome to see as well.
And let's see here how Glenbard South responds. They give up that last drive, really quick points, 2 quick touchdowns, and let's see if they can bounce back, see if they can put some points up on the board against this very solid, very good Storm defense, who's only given up 7 the whole season once again. Let's see Jubicaro getting ready.
And let's see if we can get another touchback here out of Drew as he sends it away. And the Raiders are going to have to take this one out. The return.
And a flag on the return
by Yazan Bland.
Let's see which side this is going to be on, but coming from behind, it might be a holding.
The call is holding against the Raiders.
Yep, it's a holding call against the Raiders. Going to cost them a few more yards from where they returned it. But homecoming 2019, it's been an exciting week here at South Elgin.
It has been. Spirit Week was crazy, and a lot of people participated, which was cool to see. I know I took place in the last 3 days, and it was cool just to see everyone. There was energy in the school, for sure. That was, like, super exciting to, I don't know, it just made this week, like, different. It made people excited to show up to school, which you don't get often out of some people. So it was pretty cool to see, and then the pep rally topped it all off today.
Mm-hmm. This year's theme was Disney Pixar.
As first down. Not really any gain there. As a sea of storm. We're there, and yeah, Pixar theme this year. We got I think us seniors, like Monsters University was our big theme, and the school was decorated and stuff. And that was pretty cool too. And I showed up on Monday just to see everything in the hallways. It was good work done by our student and class councils.
Yep, but then
whoever takes care of that stuff. That was pretty cool.
But did you see about the little senior sign fiasco where the seniors was missing the S and the S, so it's spelled Eniers on the wall.
There's a little bit of because I know people work really hard on that, so I heard a little talking about like, oh, where did the S go? People were freaking out about that, and it's understandable. People put a lot of time into that. As Flasco puts together a run here that'll make it 3rd and short. South Elgin.
Yep, but people took it well, I think. We saw people posting signs saying #Enier season.
People were having some fun with it.
So everything fun and well, lighthearted and joke.
I don't know how you feel about it, but I think in my 4 years here, I don't think anybody's participated more in a homecoming week than this year, in terms of the amount of people who showed up and stuff. Because it'll be encroachment on the Storm, automatic first down from the Raiders' own 21-yard line, giving them a fresh set of downs to work with, and they get bailed out of trying to convert on 3rd down.
Yep, and that's big. That's something that the Storm defense doesn't want to fall into a habit of doing tonight. They don't want to pull. And that's a nice run there by who's it? Yeah, that was a nice run there by Bland. But no, that's something that the Storm doesn't want to fall in the trap of. They don't want to keep giving up first downs just by their own fault, not even by making the other team earn it.
And it'll be 2nd and 10, no gain there for the Raiders. As we see what quarterback Nick Plasso has in the fold here for 2nd down. High snap, looking, it'll be a screen, finds his man. Another flag is caught by Dominic Dombro. As he avoided one tackler and got met by 2 other Storm defenders, and we'll see what the flags are.
And it's another offensive hold.
And it'll be on offensive holding on the Raiders, like you mentioned. And that'll back them up.
Yep, so that's the second.
That one's going to hurt.
That's the second holding call against the Raiders this game so far. And that's something, once again, that they don't want to fall into a habit of. We saw that give Elgin a lot of trouble when the Maroons played South Elgin here.
Second and 22 from the 9. Plasso drops back. He's going to fling it. And
is that a reception?
They're going to call it incomplete down the sideline. Jachim Marshall on the coverage. Who else? Before you were here, I mentioned he had a great game the last time we called a game here. He was my pick to click today. He's a guy to look out for. And great coverage there by Jachim, not allowing the 2 feet in bounds or the 1 foot in bounds.
Yep, but Trevor Burnett really tried to make that play. He had a really nice effort to go up and grab that ball. It was a great catch, but couldn't get the foot down because of the defense of Marshall. Now let's see what Coach Chrissy and the Glenbard South offense goes to with a 3rd and very long.
I think they are just going to try and find any type of gain here. As actually they're going to call a timeout to
talk things over.
Timeout. Glenbard.
And for good reason here, 3rd and 22. We'll see. They just try grabbing a few yards to make the punt a little bit less stressful instead of being punting it from out of their own end zone. Or they're going to try and take a shot downfield and pick up a first down on this 3rd and very, very long.
I've just been reminded of Club Sandwiches.
So you notice that Jachim Marshall was your player to look out for. Do you have any player on the offensive end for the Storm to look out for?
If he's on offense, I'll take him on offense too. I mean, he's everywhere. But if I had to pick someone in particular, I'd say, honestly, the guy who just scored the last touchdown, Marquise Gillespie. Him or Corvette King's a good pick, but for some reason, like in the Elgin game, they had Jachim on both sides of the ball, and he was doing everything. So whatever side of the ball he's on, you know he's going to make a play, and he's going to click on that side of the ball. Got anybody you'd look out for, Derryl?
I was going to say Corvette King. He's been having an excellent season rushing the ball, and now the Storm defense doing what they do best, just getting to the quarterback. But Corvette's been having a great season on the offensive end rushing, and, well, it looks like now the Storm offense is going to get a chance to come back on the field.
There was a sack made there by Kenneth Johnson III, a 2021 grad for the Storm, picking up the sack, and it'll be 4th and long again for the Raiders as they're punting out of their own end zone with 3:58 left in the first, and it'll go right back into the arms of the Storm offense.
Yep, but let's see how the Raiders defense responds now once they kick this one off. Let's see if they can force a quick 3-and-out for the Storm.
This is going to be a big statement drive here for both sides. If Glenbard South can grab some momentum, put a stop together, just do anything to keep the Storm out of the end zone. It'll be a big confidence booster for their next offensive possession. This is a very, very short punt. And Marshall's going to pick it up.
Yep, picked it up around the 30 and ran it back to the 25.
Nobody thought anybody was going to touch it, so she kicks it. I'll take care of it myself and pick up a few yards while I'm at it.
Yep, so now they're only going to have to go a quarter of the field to try and get in that end zone once again for the 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, 3rd time. Great starting field position here for the Storm with 3:25 left in just the first quarter, folks.
Yep, and they won't have to do much to get points on the board. I mean, they're within kicker Drew Baccaro's field goal range here. I saw him warming up from what looks like the 35 to 40.
And Drew's got an absolute leg. He can. If they ever were in the situation where they need a game-winning field goal type of situation, he's your guy. As King in motion, they're going to give it to him. And Corvette breaks a couple tackles, still on his feet. It takes, I'd say that took about 5 for Glenbard South Raiders to bring him down to the turf. It'll be around the 30, so no gain there for the Storm. It'll be 2nd and 10 for them.
Yep, Corvette, he's a big, strong dude there standing at. How tall is Corvette? Corvette standing at 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a big dude. He's hard to bring down.
Size on him alone. A lot of guys that are tough to tackle here on this Storm team just because of how quick they are.
Yeah, Once again, we also talked about how Corvée and Davion, two of the fastest players in the conference.
Speaking of Davion, he takes the carry there and gets swallowed up by that Raiders defensive line, so they're still stuck on the 30. So it'll be around the 30, so it'll be 3rd and 8 for them from the 28.
Tackle by number 56, Tobias Ireland.
And let's see if they do not convert this 3rd down, depending on how close they get, will they give kicker Drew Vaccaro a shot?
I think they should, but knowing Coach Janik and the offense, he knows he's got a lot of faith in that offense.
And in the defense, if
And
they
in the defense.
fail to convert, really.
Harpwood slings it. They got it anyways. Kalen Garau, bring it within the 10. We don't even got to worry about thinking about a field goal. You know on 3rd down, this offense shows up to play. As Garau puts it within the 10-yard line, the Storm are knocking on the goal line again for the 3rd time this quarter alone.
Yup, and it seems like the story of this season. The Storm defense taking care of business, getting the ball in the offense's hand, and then the offense taking care of business and putting points up on the board quickly.
And what I think the key here is what the Storm do so well is with their defense getting off the field as quick as possible, it gives the other team's defense, which could be a good defense, little time to just sit and take a breather. No, they get rushed back on the field right away, so they're running on fumes. With time remaining as Corbett King's going to walk in the end zone untouched for the 3rd Storm touchdown of the night. Make it 20-0 with 1:20 remaining here in the 1st.
And they just made that look so easy.
So easy.
I mean, I'm sure you or I could have walked into the end zone on that play, but the Storm offense is executing today, and that's something that Coach Tionic must love to see.
They are rolling. Looks like trying to keep a perfect season alive, and they're on good track to do that here in the 1st quarter alone. As Carl will look to knock this one through the uprights for his 3rd extra point of the game. Botch snap. Harpwood's looking to throw off his back leg. It'll be incomplete. He had a couple guys in the area. It'd be Anthony Viscuso and Chris Mejia Gomez, a couple seniors. So not the attempt as there might have been a flag on the play. Nobody's moving.
It looks like the referees are discussing something. Let's see what they call.
Some type of call on the Raiders as Drew Carl just pointed that way. And it looks like they'll get another shot at this thing. That did not go down, obviously, an attempt to throw. It was a tough snap. And got confetti cannon going off. Down over by the band and student section. Shout out to all the students who showed up today. It's a cold one out here. This is, as I was mentioning, probably one of the coldest nights we've had in quite some time here in this area. It's something we haven't been used to in quite a few months.
Yup, it's a cold one out here tonight, and many of the students, especially the super fans, have been here since 4:45 in the morning. You know, we
were on ABC this morning, weren't we?
Yup, we had reporters come down from ABC 7 Chicago, and we had a great turnout from the band. We had a turnout from the student section. So, and that was a lot of fun this morning.
You were here this morning, Darrell?
I was here this morning.
How are you feeling right now? That's what I should be asking.
I will tell you, I was dead before the game started. But once the band started playing, once I saw the lights, once I saw the football, I felt energized again.
You have been up and going for about 16 hours now. As they're going to go for 2 for handoff to Alex Navarro. He'll get in 22-0. As with the ball being around the goal line, Coach Giannis said, why not go for 2? And they got it. Yeah, it's been quite a day for some of the students here at South Elgin, especially ones like you who've been here since 4:45. Now I got some sleep. I got to sleep for the next hour today, which felt great.
But it's okay. Tomorrow is Saturday. No school.
No school.
Homecoming night.
Tomorrow.
So everyone will get to sleep in, and then they'll get to wake up and have a night to look forward to.
Indeed they will, and it's also a Columbus Day weekend as well, so no school on Monday. And for us seniors, we'll have no school on Wednesday too, so.
Yep, due to the PSAT testing.
Should be a fun next few days here for seniors especially, but for everyone in general.
Head over to the booster table right now.
This homecoming weekend's always a fun weekend to look forward to. Especially when your football team playing as well as they are, and students and everyone in the community cannot complain.
Yep, they can't. And it looks like everyone here is enjoying themselves. The band is playing, they're energized. The student section looks awake despite being here for so long. And despite the weather, it's still a great night to play some football.
Still a great night. As Carl sends it away. Be taken out by the Raiders.
And a nice move there, Bob.
A spin move there by Yazan Bland again.
Number 10, Ryan Soriano, and number 5, Riley Rivers.
Yep, and they're going to start off at the, what is that? The 29, looks like.
Good call, dude. 28. Nice and close. We're getting better at this, folks. We're getting more experience. You always think on the TV it's so easy to see, but when you're actually calling it live and seeing it from a distance, it's a little bit more difficult. But we're starting to get the hang of things here.
And hopefully if the Storm can go far in the playoffs, maybe we'll get some more experience.
That's what we're hoping for. As Plasso sets up shop around the 28. Hand off to Kylan Henderson.
The Storm just swallowed him up right there.
Swallowed up by Dylan Bernal and company.
Ball carrier by number 5.
And it, just like that, it looks like the Raiders are in for another dreadful drive off the bat.
You got the band playing a little throwback here with the usher. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Gotta love it.
But 40 seconds left in the first quarter, and the Storm already up 22-0. Can't be a good feeling for Coach Chrissy and crew.
Plasso scrambling is going to take off again. He'll grab the first down and get out of bounds, untouched, and just like that, the Raiders are on their own 42. Fresh set of downs.
And let's see now, that's the longest third down that they've converted all game thus far. So let's see if that can give them some momentum here, build some confidence.
So it's got to build up the self-esteem of Nick Plasso and the Raider offense. They'll look to probably run one or two more plays here in this quarter before we switch sides for a second. Plasso drops back. Pressure being brought. He's going to take off and run for his life again. Breaks one tackle. And flag will be thrown. I believe it's going to be a late hit on the Storm.
And is Plasso still down?
Plasso's a little shaken up on the play.
Yep, he comes up limping. That's something we don't like to see by anyone.
As they're probably going to call a late hit or unnecessary roughness on the Storm defense, which will put the ball in better position for the Raiders, and will definitely help out this drive.
And let's see if Nick Plasso is good to go for the remainder of this drive.
He's still holding something. I believe it's he's walking funny, so I believe it's his knee. He's got a little bit of a limp.
And they won't get a playoff before the quarter ends.
So with the running clock, that'll end the first quarter here from South Elgin High School. The Storm 22 and the Raiders 0. It is homecoming weekend, and we'll be back with the second quarter after this.
looks like we're coming back with the action here at South Elgin High School. Start of the second quarter, Glenbard South with the ball, down 22-0. Andy, how do you feel the game is going so far?
Oh my gosh, Vince Kleinite. Big rack up tackle there. Game so far, I mean, it's pretty one-sided. Definitely toward the Storm. 3 offensive touchdowns, a 2-point conversion. Definitely tell they came out to play. The defense looks solid as well. I mean, keys for the quarter for me and to finish out the half. If Glenbard South can somehow find a way to not allow a single point to end the half and put something up on the board for themselves, that'll be a huge confidence booster. Coach Chris and his group going back to the locker room to regroup with a whole other half to play. They're trying to get something here. Plasso dropped back. He's swarmed. He's being chased. He's going to fling it. He's got a man. And it'll be thrown out of bounds. It seems to be a theme here. Storm defensive line is just putting good pass rush, putting a lot of pressure on Plasso. He's been running a lot. He has been scrambling around the pocket a lot. He's been able to make some good plays, but it's not a comfortable position for him. He feels like he's always on the move.
Oh yeah, and that's a big part of the Storm defensive game plan. They never want the quarterback to be comfortable. They always are applying pressure, like you just said, making Plasso move around, because once you start moving around, that's when your mind starts scrambling. You start to get a little desperate, start to look around a little quicker and make some quicker decisions, and that's when mistakes happen.
Plasso, he slips in the turf and will be taken down himself around midfield, so it'll be 3rd and long here for the Raiders. Or no, that was 3rd down. And now it'll be 4th and 17, so we'll see what Coach Chrissy does here, and we could possibly see Coach Tianik's offense grab the ball back right away to start the second quarter.
Now I'm keeping an eye on watching how Nick Plasso is walking off the field right now, because we saw him fall and then get hit late and come up holding his leg in the previous quarter, so
he seems to be doing all right. He was running around the last couple of plays, but still we will definitely look into seeing how Nick responds to that for the rest of the game, and there'll be a punt coming here for the Raiders. And we're going to they threw a flag. I think delay game on the Raider offense. Or special teams, I should say. That backs them up even farther into their own territory. 4th and 22. That's what we're looking at now. And be a little bit more of a line drive punt. And it's going to be picked up by Alex Noirall. He's down the left sideline. He's got blockers. One man to beat, and he beat him. And that'll be a touchdown for the Storm.
Wait, hold on a second. There's a flag all the way back at the 32. Let's see which side it's on and if this gets called back.
A nice return there for Noirall. Just picked up, took off, and took his blockers with him. And we'll see what the penalty is on here. If it's a block in the back on the Storm, or if the touchdown here will stand.
Yeah, but it looks like everyone's walking back, so might be against the Storm here on this one.
Waiting for the final verdict.
And
I believe Coach Christie just got a flag thrown for something he did. Wait the ref's decision. I believe this could be on the Raiders because if a flag was thrown after Coach Christie started jawing at the refs, this could be something he wasn't satisfied with. We will wait and see. This one's taking some time here, Darrell.
yeah, I was about to say they're taking a long time talking this one over. But just based off how the Storm are reacting, still looks like that touchdown may not count.
So it's going to be They're calling too many men on the field. Oh no, we have to figure this one out.
On the play, illegal hit on the Storm. Sideline warning on the reading.
So it'll be an illegal hit on the Storm with a sideline warning to the coaching staff and the players of Glenbard South. So I believe this touchdown will not stand. And we will see the offense go to work. Nonetheless, that was still a very exciting return. The Storm special teams are definitely not a weak point of this team. I don't really know if this team has a necessary weak link part out of the three, the defense, offense, special teams. I don't think they got a bad portion. Everything runs smooth for them, and just like an engine, it just keeps on going. And they're backed up pretty far in their own territory. So another long drive is what they'll be looking at here if they're looking to put one in the end zone.
And this is that magical number 85. They're on that 15-yard line. You feel another 85-yard run coming?
I feel it. I feel another long drive here as the school SB gets sent in motion. And Davion Sherwin down the sideline. He's gone. And another 80-plus yard run for the Storm. That's a touchdown. It's like we should go buy a lottery ticket, even though we're not old enough. We should go play the lottery tonight, Darryl. I believe that's the second time we've called an 80-yard run here.
That is back-to-back 85-yard touchdown runs for the Storm.
This time Davion Sherwin gets it on the fun. This is truly something else here, folks. 9:47 remaining here in the second quarter. South Elgin up 28-0 as they send their extra point group out. Just, I guess, another part of this team I'm mentioning here that gets overlooked is definitely their offensive line. As with them running the ball and pass protection, everything's just been so smooth. You don't see, when they drop back in the pocket, you don't see Ben Karpowitz get taken down a whole lot. Well, two 80-plus yard touchdown runs in a game definitely means the offensive line's doing something right. So the guys in the trenches are getting the job done, and they have been getting the job done all season. This is now 29-0 here with 9:47 remaining in the second quarter. Derryl, I believe the Storm are up to their usual ways and could be heading near blowout city here pretty soon.
Yup, and I just pulled up the stats, and according to my math, that makes it 344 points to 7 that the Storm have scored in comparison to their opponents.
They still got another half of this game, and then they still got 2 more weeks. Could we see? Is it 344? Is it? Is 500 points possible? Is it a possibility?
No, what are we, 4 games into the season?
6.
6 games.
This is game 7. We have 2 left.
2 games left with, what would that be? That would be 156 points.
And there's still half of this game, too. It's possible. 500 points, I think is possible. But I don't know. The Bartlett game next week is definitely going to be one that the Storm are going to be on edge about. So I don't know, but I definitely want to see if a high school football team, I'm sure it's been done, but recent memory here in the state of Illinois, the 500-point team has been put together as a fumbled, a muffed return, and basically the entire Storm special teams unit taking down Kylan Henderson there as Glenbard South will start this drive pretty much just like every other drive, back within like their own 10-yard line. And that doesn't help their case of trying to put something up on the board there.
Yup, and it's just been a series of unfortunate events here for the Glenbard South Raiders. I mean, it seems like they can't catch a break. They just gave up 2 straight 85-yard touchdowns. Now, on a routine kick return, they drop it and then have to get it back and struggle to make back up the yards. But let's see if they can get something going here.
And it'll be 1st and 10 from their own 16. Plasso drops back, hands off, and just like that, be Vince Kleinite. Definitely one of the top numbers called on the defensive side. The senior linebacker's been doing this for the past 2 seasons as a starter, and he's been in and out of the defense his sophomore year. He's a man who has made a lot of big plays as a member of this football team, and he's a staple to this defense as he just made another big tackle for a loss. Loss of 6, that would be. So they're 2nd and 16 from their own 10. So the Storm defense doesn't make this job any easier. Plasso drops back, looking for a man. He's got Henderson. Blockers in front of him. Kylan Henderson, I believe, gets the first down. So a big breakthrough play there for the Raiders offense to get them out of their own end zone, essentially. What was near their own end zone. So they had some breathing room a little bit in the pocket now, and it'll be a fresh set of downs for the Raiders.
Yup, that little screen, that little short pass with blockers out in front. Caught the Storm off guard as they probably got excited. They thinking they almost had a safety as Nick Plasso was backing up into the end zone, but ended up getting a nice chunk of yards there, giving them some nice breathing room, like you said.
Plasso looking to throw downfield, tipped in the air, it's picked off by Nuoral. And he's dragged down by Trevor Burnett.
What a defensive team effort by the Storm. You see, it's not just one person doing it all today. It is everyone. They are a defense that is clicking on all cylinders, working together. One person tips up the pass, and then the next person comes and gets it and gets the pick.
It can't just be one person. There's got to be multiple names involved in the play, and tip pass, multiple tips led to the interception, and just like that, still 8 minutes left in the second, and Storm offense will go right back to work.
This one, of course, can't feel good for Coach Chrissy and the Raiders, but it's certainly an exciting one for the Storm fans and the Storm team.
Gillespie in motion. Carp fakes the pick there. He's looking deep. He's got a man. And great defensive effort there. I believe that was Dominic Dombra. That was a pass intended for Corral. They're looking for the home run ball there.
Couldn't quite convert on that. That was good coverage there.
See, but with a 29-point lead, you know, you feel like you can try to make plays like that just to get the field ready for when, you know, you need to make a play like that in a close game in the playoffs. You're able to experiment with different things with a big lead.
Indeed, indeed. And, you know, we talked about earlier how Ben Karpowitz has got off to a nice start in the passing game. So now he's feeling confident, especially with this lead.
And Optionary holds on to the ball. He'll grab a couple. And that'll set up 3rd and long for the Storm.
Quarterback keeper by number 2, Ben Karpowitz. Tackle by number 6.
So now let's see, after having a couple big long drives, let's see if Glenbard South can hold the Storm to a quick 3-and-out here.
And it'll be Robles in the backfield with Karpowitz, and then Corvée King to his left, Marquise Gillespie was right, that T formation that we've seen so often this game. Gillespie in motion, another fake pitch, and he finds Robles out in the flat. And I believe that will move the chains for the Storm. Yet another 3rd and long conversion. And that just keeps, for Glenbard South in their terms, the opportunities they need to take advantage of, they're just not able to.
He's ahead for another Storm. First down.
And you said earlier that fatigue is a factor when it comes to playing defense, and the Storm are wearing this defense out. They're keeping them constantly on the field, and they're not getting much room for rest, and Storm is taking advantage.
Karpowitz looks, flings one over. He's bobbled and caught by Chris Mejia.
Karpowitz pass complete to number 14, Mejia Gomez.
With that, that'll set up a 2nd and manageable here for the Storm. It'll be to the far left of your screen, Garau on the top, and then the slot is King. And then on the right, you see Nuoral and Marshall. So a bunch of playmakers in the fold here. Karpowitz looks, finds Marshall. King's gonna try and put a move on him. breaks a tackle. He's still on his feet. He's right by the goal line. I tell you, just put a ball in his hand and Jachim Marshall will make people miss.
Yup, standing at 5'10", 160. Not the biggest dude, but
man, is he quick.
Yeah,
he is a quick man.
And he's still hard to bring down, you know. Quickness, speed, and skill.
And it'll be on the 1 yard line. Right on the doorstep.
It looks like they're calling a timeout here.
And Storm offense, with all their timeouts still in this half, 5:49 remaining, will burn a TO.
Let me get a run.
So, obviously, Storm up 29-0. What do you think has been the key to this game so far, and why they have such a big lead already?
I think I keep mentioning is when that defense hits the field, you don't see them for more than 2 or 3 minutes on average, you know, give or take. And that gives Glenbard South or any other team this year, their defense, that gives them less time to catch a breather because the offense likes to take these long drives that'll wear out a defense. And that other team's defense runs out of gas way quicker than they usually would. In terms of the Storm offense, I mean, just the play calling has been really good for them, and it's been really good for them all season. Just consistency has been the key, and this team's been very consistent. You know, they'll tell the guys to put in some hard work, and it's definitely paying off here.
Indeed, and now let's see if they can just pound one right in.
And we'll see if Carpwood's taking himself or he'll hand it off. In motion, he's going to take it himself, and he's in.
For his second touchdown of the day.
Second rushing touchdown for Ben Carpowitz. It'll put the Storm up 35-0 here with 5:56 remaining in the second quarter. Still a lot of football to play here, Darrell.
Still a lot of football to play. You know, that's a nice lead here for the Storm, but with so much time, anything can happen. Glenbard South is not out of the realm of possibilities, despite this bad half, that they could come back and win this game.
But that would require the near impossible this season, that is putting up a score on the Storm defense, as it's only been done on one possession out of the many that they've faced. As Vaccaro will send this one through the uprights, it'll be 36 to zip.
36-0, and that means the margin, by my calculations, at least increases to 351 points, 2-7 for the Storm offense.
I like having a mathematician with me here. It's definitely something I wouldn't think of myself. As more confetti.
Yep, like we said on the first home game, it wouldn't be a football game without Mr. Dobick, our band director, and his confetti cannon.
It wouldn't be. As you see it a lot. Whenever the Storm score, usually you'll see some confetti float around, and I feel like Mr. Dobick's going to start running out of some confetti here soon if he hasn't already at some point this season. Because you gotta think for the fans' sake, is when will we start seeing people kind of hit the exits? As it is getting colder and colder as we speak. But it seems like everyone's sticking around. I'm not really seeing anybody take off, and I mean for good reason. They're watching a very successful football team go to work.
Yep, the student section's still looking strong, and then also the parents. There's a bit large crowd in the parents, and they aren't going anywhere.
See, I think what's doing the trick for them is hot chocolate, which I have seen around here, which actually looks really good right now, with some blankets, just a lot of extra stuff.
Plenty of layers.
Let's go off-road right next to the gear fence.
We got our PA booth having some fun next to us over here too. They have. I wish we had what they had. They have all the doors closed. I swear there's definitely some heater in there.
Oh, I walked in there. It was about 12 degrees warmer in there. They had a box of pizzas in there. I bet that was probably still warm too, just because they have all the nice air in there.
See if I can scrounge some pizza off and let's go soda there in the second half. As the Storm defense are gonna set up shop, or I should say the Glenbard South Raiders offense is gonna set up shop. You're just accustomed to seeing the defense is going to. Here's at their own 20, 1st and 10. 5 minutes to play with here in the second quarter. They will be receiving the ball to start the second half. As ball is handed off to Henderson, and he is immediately swallowed up. I feel like this is repetitive at this point. I feel like a broken record saying that, Darryl.
Yeah, the Storm defensive line, they're not giving up any rushing yards to this Raiders offense.
I want to go see the stats. Honestly, I want to see the stats at this half. I want to see how many total yards each team has, because you know it's going to be some absurd amount for the Storm. I mean, the 2 85-yard touchdowns alone calculate for that. Well, I'd say one of the 85-yard touchdowns automatically outnumber what the Raiders have done tonight.
Yeah, but it's definitely a lopsided statistic there.
But there's 2 halves to this game. You know, Glenbard South still has a chance to go to work here in the second half, and they still have this drive too. As another handoff and another stop by the Storm defense. That'll be Jake Washer in on the stop there, and that defensive line is no mercy right now. Pedal to the metal at all times.
Yeah, they're just forcing the Raiders' offense to really move backwards because there's nowhere else to go.
So it'll be 3rd and 15 from their own 15. As we'll see if Nick Plasso can convert, assumingly through the air, here on 3rd and long. And he drops back, looking downfield, running, and he is, I believe he was touched and wrapped down. It'll be Dylan Bernal, another one of those senior linebackers who's a staple in this defense. He's always got his nose and everything in on the action. Him, Vince Kleinite, and more. As that'll set up 4th and 20 here for the Raiders, and another punt. So just like that, the Storm offense
coming back on the field.
We'll be getting the ball back.
And now let's see. Alex Norwell. He ran one back last time. It got called back.
I think he wants this one here.
Yeah,
he's not satisfied with what happened on the last attempt.
So, you know, he's looking to bring this one
back.
Oh,
punt blocked! Punt has been blocked. And is picked up by the Storm, and just like that, as if the offense didn't need any more help already, they will automatically be in the red zone to start this drive.
And you can't ask for anything more. The Storm defense and now the Storm special teams taking a really good job.
And that'll be our guy, Rylan Crothers, got his hand in there to block the Raider punt. And just like that, it will be a 1st and 10 from the 15. So definitely starting position here for the Storm as they're going to look to put another score up before halftime.
Back in that T formation like you always talk about.
He out in motion. They're going to hand it off to Warhol. Walks in untouched. Touchdown, Storm. First play.
And I believe that's the 3rd time that they've scored on the same play, Andy. I mean, really, they fake the first handoff and then Harp turns around and hands it off to the other back and just...
Everyone's getting in on the fun. Everybody wants a touchdown here for the Storm tonight. And at this rate, I think everyone on that offense will get one. As it is now 42-0, 3 minutes remaining here in the first half.
Yep, and we got a nice crowd here tonight, seeing some good Storm alumni in the house. Got Jace Warwick, last year's all-conference, all-area basketball selection.
With 3 minutes and 1 second left in the half, your score: the Glenbard South Raiders 0, your South Elgin Storm 42.
And 42-0. What a half for the Storm offense and the Storm defense.
I definitely just got the door just opened in that main PA box, and I'm very excited. That was a nice breeze of warm air or something. That's what it was.
Well, Andy, we are 3 minutes out from halftime. 3 minutes out from your opportunity to go in there and warm up. And
Yes, sir.
3 minutes away from all you guys watching's chance to see the Storm marching band come out with their homecoming halftime show.
And you will be a part of that, Mr. Barnes. I do believe.
Yeah, I will be. I'll be running down there to go and get my Disney on.
Make sure to stick around for the halftime show. Catch the band and whoever else will be out there. I don't know if cheer and dance are doing anything. If they are,
Yep, the dance feature this
Dance will be
week
out
will, I think it's I Like It by Cardi B.
very nice. So make sure we'll have multiple forms of entertainment for you at halftime. Make sure to stick around. Don't go anywhere. Don't miss any of the action. Missed that one through the hands. Oh, ball loose! Fumble!
And that's a pick.
And I believe that was recovered by the Storm.
And they're pointing in that direction.
Boy.
What's it going to be? Who's going to come
And
out
they
at the
point
bottom?
the Storm way. And a flag. Flag was thrown in at the end. Nonetheless, it looks like the Storm are going to set up shop at like their own, or the Glenbard South 5. Wow, the special teams really coming up making plays today.
Yep, that's 2 straight big plays by them. Recovering that fumble here, and then on the last play, blocking the punt. And they're just making it easy on the Storm offense.
Was I the only one to see that flag get thrown in there, Derryl? Or
I did not see it, but
thought I saw a yellow flag be thrown around. I don't know.
could be talking about something.
I guess that flag was just to place the ball. It's just like that. It'll be Storm offense are going to go out there. The chance to punch in yet another touchdown.
Actually, Andy, will they?
What's going
No,
on
never mind.
here?
I thought I saw Nick Plasso back out there, but
So I guess-
have the ball from the Raiders' 22-yard line.
So I believe there was the flag was on the Storm. Not sure what for, but nonetheless it does set them back to about the Raider 22. Nonetheless, still great starting position for this possession. Got my words mixed up there. Nonetheless, we'll see the Storm have in store here. Another possession. Karpowitz looking. Draws it to Norwell again. Same play that they scored the touchdown on. Last possession, he's still on his feet, still moving. And he's brought down from behind. Ball almost got knocked out. Just like that, they're within the 10-yard line for a 1st and goal.
and look at the legs on all these Storm backs when they're running these plays. They just always keep their legs moving, keep trying to push for that few extra yards. My apologies, those few extra yards, and that's how they have 357 points on the season.
No matter what, some part of their body is still moving, even as they're being brought down. Nothing stops for them until they're in the end zone, I should say. As Mejia in motion again, Karpowitz looking. He's going
Once
to
again,
hand
the
it
same
off.
play,
Say if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
but this time it
That
looks
time
like,
it looked broken.
yeah.
But, I mean, it's one of the few that has looked broken tonight. But nonetheless, a 42-point lead is really nothing to frown at.
Yep, and it's 2nd and goal here at, what is that, the 7-yard line.
We're down to less than 2 minutes remaining. I believe we got into that point already in the game where we have a running clock.
And that is something that South Elgin's not unfamiliar with.
I believe they've definitely had a running clock in every single game this year, Derryl. They definitely had it in the first game that we called. It wasn't this early, but they had it nonetheless. Karpowitz will hand it off to Sammy Robles, and he's into the end zone for a Storm touchdown.
Once again, making it look easy. The Storm line creating those holes.
The unsung heroes of this offense for the Storm, no doubt, is their offensive line. With that being said, it is now 48-0. Here with 1:22 remaining in the second quarter, still not halftime. Nonetheless, pedal to the metal is Coach Tianik's group here. As Drew Bacaro will look to boot in the extra point.
And it's kind of starting to get ridiculous how many points the Storm offense is putting up. I mean, they're putting up more points per game than the Storm basketball team was last season.
Now that's crazy because the Storm basketball team, which I know you were a part of it, Derryl, was something else they were. I mean, it was a lot of fun to call those games too, and can't wait to call more basketball games this season too. But being able to call football has been a lot of fun as well. But yeah, nonetheless, this is a lot of points they put up. I want to be able to average it. I want to say they're sitting at least 35 a game, at least. That's not including all the, I think that was their lowest scoring was 35, was last week. We're seeing a lot of alumni stop in here.
Yep. Now we have Jack Bozikas up here in the booth, a Beacon alumni, as well as a Storm alumni. Yeah, this is definitely something interesting for all the Storm alumni to see. This is their first experience with Friday Night Lights. Obviously, they don't go to the school anymore, but this is the first year that we have this. This press box wasn't here when they were at school. So this is something exciting and something new for both us and everybody else.
We've seen all the alumni have come up. A lot of them have come and said hi to us. A lot of them have just been amazed by what we have going on here. As ball blew off the tee again.
Yeah, I've got some strong winds out here tonight. Yep, but in case you didn't know, last week the South Elgin Storm were the team of the week by, what was it, NBC, I believe?
I find it hard for them not to be, the way they've been playing this season. It's been a good fall sports campaign for everyone, but especially this football squad.
Yup, right here on NBCS Preps Twitter says South Elgin Storm, Team of the Week.
As kickoff return, they'll get some positive yards there, as it looks like Glenbard South won't be starting their drive from Detroit this time around.
Yep, and that's probably the best field position that Glenbard South is going to have thus far in the game. To start this drive. And just a minute and 14 left before halftime, before the Storm Marching Band's Disney-themed halftime homecoming performance. And it's going to be a good one.
It's anything like we saw at the pep rally today. I'm expecting big things.
Yep. Be on the lookout for the seniors spelling out a 2-0, representing the year that we're graduating.
Class of 2020. As barely any gain there, so we're at that running clock. And Derryl, I do believe you'll have him be take off here in the next minute or so.
Tackled by number 4, Anthony.
Yep, and it's been quite a half for the Storm offense and defense and special teams. Can't forget about them.
It's basically
and
every part of their team, and
quite the opposite.
It's been the exact opposite for
Yeah.
the Glenbard South Raiders. As I'd really like to know what Coach Christie's going to say to his group going into the locker room for the second half. As not really any gain there either. So running clock, 20 seconds remaining. Maybe we'll see another play for the Raiders in this half.
But for this half, that is going to be
That'll wrap up the first half here. Glenbard South offense walking off the field. Derryl, go do your thing out on that field for the band. I'm sure everybody will stick around and watch that. So after the first half of play, complete and utter domination from the Storm. It is 49-0 over the Glenbard South Raiders here on homecoming night. And Derryl and I will be back after the halftime show to recap the first half and talk about what teams need to do going into the second half. See you guys after this break.
Tonight's show opens with Disney's famous theme from Fantastic, and then we visit a backstage rehearsal of High School Musical. Cue drum line. The band will close out their homecoming A Day at Disney World show with music from The Incredibles. Senior David Goliath will play saxophone solo during this song. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please welcome the award-winning South Elgin Dance Team. They'll be dancing to I Like It by Cardi B. Please welcome to the field the South Elgin High School varsity dance team. Tonight's homecoming dance was choreographed by the seniors.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. Back home smoking legal. I got more slaps than the Beatles. Running on diesel, dog. Why we do it? I do it for the truck. Never leave a crib alone. Cause I keep one in my car and I got two at home. They different times, but they do the same thing. Double A's, double
Too hot, I'm staying too cold, I'm going down. Out this way, doing my shows. I'm in the road, I don't care why, but numbers I keep paying. Bad little fire, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she can stay. What is it?
I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much stronger. Man, I've been waiting all night, man. That's how long I've been on ya.
also.
I have a friend in Carthage. He loves it.
Yeah, Carthage. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, he's running track and field there. He loves it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I definitely. I'm not looking for school.
What are you looking to major in?
I like German language type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're good at it. Like hearing you announce down there, like you know your stuff. I try.
Being around a lot of life.
Yeah.
I was just talking to some of these things where you're doing basketball games. I've been doing since I was a sophomore.
Jacobs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping to come back for a couple games.
I'll be.
You know what I'm saying? Ward! Jace!
Good, how are you?
What's up, bud? What's going on? How you doing, man? Good. How's school? Pretty good. I love it.
South Elgin High School Storm. 49-0 here on the Glenbard South Raiders. Homecoming night. It was a very eventful first half in terms for the Storm offense. Real quick, I'm Andy Jachim. My partner Darrell Barnes will soon be joining me as he was in the band festivities, and here he is. Derryl is back, and watching.
Take care. Be good.
And Darryl, it's good to have you back. I see you're all changed out of your band uniform and ready to rock and roll here for the second half.
Oh yeah, I did the dash. We just finished on the field. You know, I hope you enjoyed the show.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And then
Very
yeah,
nice. Stayed warm.
rushed back to the cafeteria with the rest of the band. Took off the uniform. Had to run right back up here to finish out the game with you in the booth.
We're back. We are back. Good to be here. As mentioned, it's 49-0 currently in favor of the Storm here, as not a lot was going right for the Storm, or for the Raiders, I should say. Everything was going right for the Storm in all three fashions of the game, offensively, defensively, and special teams. Seems like nothing's gone wrong for them, and everything else went wrong for the Raiders in the first half, as Coach Ryan Christie's group just could never seem to find their touch, and I don't believe they ever found their way extensively into Storm territories. That's definitely something they're trying to address here in the second half.
Yeah, it definitely is. You know, they had a couple penalties that went the wrong way when they were finally starting to get some momentum, and now they're struggling to find some kind of identity against the Storm, really, because the Storm know exactly who they are. They've been just drooling them out on defense, and then on offense, scoring quickly, making the opposing defense come back out on the field quickly, and then the opposing offense not giving them enough time to talk over their mistakes.
Yeah, it seems like time is something that's not on Glenbard South side tonight in terms of just being able to prepare in between drives for the offense and defensive side of the fashion, as we'll see how Coach Christie and his group look to attack this half.
But Andy, I gotta tell you, after coming from that field, tonight, homecoming night, the first Friday night homecoming game in school history, it's something, there's a certain type of energy out there.
I can see, honestly, I do believe that. Student section, I do feel like we've lost some people for some obvious reasons as the temperature continues to drop here, but nonetheless, everyone still here. Everybody's loud, everybody's staying warm, and everybody's just feel a different energy here for a homecoming night game, something we usually don't have here.
Oh, for sure. And we talked about it earlier. This week was something different too. You know, homecoming week, it was special. The Disney themed homecoming this year, and then just the Paparelli today, everything that was going on. It's been fun.
It's been a fun week. It's sad that the week's almost over, and we go back to our normal non-festive weeks here on out, but nonetheless, we can't dwell on that. We can only look for what's coming up, and which is homecoming tomorrow, and all the fun festivities that go around with that.
Yep. Storm students will get a chance to go and dance up a storm, if you will, tomorrow.
Indeed, they will. It will be a fun night for sure. You'll see a lot of the student body there per usual, and it should be a fun one. So,
yep. And also something that I think we forgot to mention is being our October home game, this is our Breast Cancer Awareness Month pink out.
This is. You see, if you're seeing a lot of pink in the stands, I do see some players got some pink wristbands on and pink undershirts and all that. So it's good seeing them raise awareness, because our next theme for a home game, our last regular season theme, will be a whiteout for senior night, as it is for every other sport. So you'll be seeing everybody doused in white shirts, shorts, shoes, paint, whatever. Some guys probably with paint all over their chest, usually with specific color out. Next week will be a bloodbath at Bartlett, that's usually a big success rate of people following that one as well.
Yep. You gonna go up there at Bartlett, have red painted across your chest?
I think it'll be too cold to paint red across my chest. I'll probably be wearing a red sweatshirt of some sort, trying to stay warm. Unless, I don't know what the weather's going to be like for next week, but I can't imagine it being better than this. So, should be a good game next week. Looking forward to it. And there will be a running clock this half, with it being a 40-point lead in favor of the Storm. The 49-0 as Drew Vaccaro will look to send this one away to the Raiders.
That one of his shallower kicks of the night.
And just pushing along.
Yep, but then still good defense there by the Storm special teams. Knocking him down right at the 20, which essentially giving him a touchback.
It's funny, I say in terms of average starting position for each possession, I'd say the Raiders probably started around their own 20 or 15. And that's kind of the same place where the Storm start, from the Raiders 20 or 15. So it seems like as of late, the Raiders have been starting with about an 80-yard drive to look ahead of them, where the Storm automatically start in the red zone, it seems, with their defense being as potent as it's been, and a couple forced fumbles on special teams. Everything seems to be going right for the Storm.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that Raiders offense, they just keep moving back. You said they keep starting at the 20, the 25, but then they'll finish at the 10, at the 8,
They'll
and
keep
be punting
losing yards
from their end zone. So that's something they're going to definitely be looking to cut back on, and that's something I'm sure Coach Chrissy talked about in the locker room at halftime.
I think one thing that he probably also went over is just limit the damage at this point in terms of the defensive side of the ball. That's going to be a big focus for them. Is tackle's broken, still on his feet. I believe that is Henderson. He's actually took quite a few bodies to take him down. That is a solid pickup to start the drive here for Glenbard South. I mean, just a small start they're looking for.
And really, after breaking through the first couple tackles, Davion Sherwin, number 42, kind of looked like saved the play right
wrapped
there.
him up. He was pretty much the last. I mean, I'm sure somebody could have caught him down the field, but Davion seemed to be the last line of defense there, and he took care of his business. So it'll be 2nd and 5 from Glenbard South's own 27. Plasso drops back. He'll toss it over. And swallowed up by the Storm defense. No gain there for the Raiders.
Yep, that looked like Anthony Cicerone, their number 82, on that play. And
I got
someone rolling around on the ground right there, something we hate to see.
That'll be Skister and Pruitt. He's limping. He's in a little bit of pain there, as Pruitt will walk off under his own power, as he was eaten up there by the Storm front line. And it'll be a 3rd and 8 from their own 24. So just when you think Glenbard South's got something cooking, they're going to have to deal with another 3rd and long, and we'll see how Coach Chrissy's offense responds here.
But the Storm really showing you why they're 6-0 on the season so far. Doing a good job on the offensive side of the ball, and especially on the defensive side, as per usual. Now let's see what Coach Chrissy, quarterback Nick Plasso have in the works right here. See if they can get something going on a 3rd and 10.
Got Plasso looking, tipped, ends up in the hands
But it won't be enough, it looks like.
of a Raider receiver. That'll be Anthony O'Shea with the grab. Actually, that'll be Mark Johnson with the grab. And sets up yet another 4th down for Glenbard South. So just like that, the Storm offense will be back on the field and see if they can score yet another touchdown.
49 points. That's something else for one half of football.
I believe they're sitting at 7 touchdowns on the evening. I think they've gone for, they got 1 2-point conversion. I'm pretty sure they were perfect. And the punt was tipped.
Second punt tip of the night.
On a botched snap and a tip punt. So the Storm will start around the Glenbard South 30-yard line, continuing the streak of receiving great position to start their drives.
Yep, now to see if they can come out in the second half and capitalize on this. And it looks like sophomore Ben Karpowitz is still on the sideline. We're going to see Peyton Dennis under snap. And we got a kid out there. He was running around.
He's been the ball boy today.
Yeah.
Been helping out, keeping the footballs dry.
Certainly looks excited about his job, too.
Yeah, he's got a whole lot of energy. He's running around.
Enjoying the night just like the rest of the student body.
And Dennis take it for himself. He just trudges right along, moving the chains right on the first play.
Yep, the 6'3 junior. What is that? Is that going to be another first down? Nope.
I'm going to say that's just short. So it'll be 2nd and inches here for the Storm offense.
So bringing it back to the little ball boy that we saw just a moment ago. I mean, it's great to see that.
Is he affiliated with Glenbard South, though, Derryl? I do believe he's affiliated with Glenbard South.
Yup, he was over on the Storm side a minute ago, but yeah, he's wearing the Raiders blue.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side. We need to get him a South Elgin Storm hat. We need to recruit him over here. He's on the wrong side right now. Someone needs to get on that.
But we can't slide our own ball boy. We got Nicholas Giannini, Justin Giannini's brother, who usually helps out getting all the field goals for our side.
Yeah, I just see Nick running around a lot. I'm just saying we should put the kid on the right side. The winning side, I should say. As on 1st and 10 from 21, Dennis. And they're going to get a false start here. The play was blown dead. So the Storm will be backed up 5 yards.
And it's been a chilly night today. And definitely has taken a toll. The rain over the past few days has really taken a toll on the field. I know when I was walking out there for halftime with the band, there was a lot of puddles of mud.
Is it slick out there?
It is pretty slick. I know we saw Nick Plasso slip in the first half right around the 50-yard line, and I could definitely see why.
Yeah, it's been raining on and off the last couple days, and it was bad earlier today. I didn't know if I think we're just fortunate right now it's not raining during the game. That's what I thought we were going to have tonight, but yeah, the rain has held up itself and
seemed to have lucked out.
And Dennis drops the snap.
And who's going to come out on top?
I think he picked it up, was able to grab a yard or so.
Yep, so no harm done, just a lost play. Let's see now. So we saw Ben Karpowitz have a nice game with the ball in the air. Let's see if Coach Tionic looks to get quarterback Dennis some of these same opportunities.
He's just looking for reps at this point, see what he's got. As Pitches it to Corvée King. He works along the sideline. Gets bounced down around the 5.
By number 11, Corvée King.
Yep, and that was a nice toss there. It just
By number 25 for the Raiders.
a consistent play, a consistent contributor in the playbook for the Storm, really. The pitch has been one of their go-tos in the run game, and
it seems like they work with a small playbook from time to time, but if nobody can stop it, there's really no reason to pull anything else out of the hat for Coach Tionic, and no need to make it harder on your offense. It's good seeing other guys grab some reps here, see what he's got to work with in terms of his future. As Dennis will flip it out to Gillespie, and he'll walk in for another Storm touchdown. Increases the lead to 55-0 here with 3.5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter.
Yep, and we can definitely tell that the student section is withered down some as
I'm
the
starting to
noise
see a lot of
really
bleacher over
quiet.
there.
Noise is really quieted down from what we saw earlier. But let's get a replay of this touchdown by Gillespie. And we see he just gets the ball and basically just walks right in there. The line does a great job opening up the hole. I mean, didn't have much room to didn't have to cover much ground, and it was just a simple, easy score for them. And now let's see, waiting on something out there on the field.
And I believe yet another penalty on Glenbard South. So yeah, I have no idea what Mr. Referee is doing right now. Nonetheless, Bukhara will look to boot in yet another PAT. And he does so. It'll make it 56-0 in favor of the Storm. Making a statement here on homecoming night. Still hasn't toppled their biggest margin of victory this year, which I believe came in the opening week against West Chicago. 65-0. So they still got a score or two to go. We don't know if we'll see that out of the Storm. Coach Tianic's going to take some pressure off. As the last big win was 65-0 against West Chicago. So they're still 9 points off of their biggest margin of victory on the season.
And while I know the players certainly want to get to that point, you know, Coach Tionic has been a really good sport about not just going for big, gaudy numbers and playing the guys that they can use some extra reps so that they can make the entire team better for down the road in the playoffs.
Create some depth.
Competition level increases.
Get the depth on the team working, get some in-game experience for some guys whose numbers could be called in case of injury down the line, or opportunity comes for them to show their stuff.
And to develop some younger players who are up on the varsity level.
Looking at those juniors, I believe there's a couple sophomores too who will obviously be returning next season.
Yup, obvious notable name is starting quarterback Ben Karpowitz.
And he's receiving starter reps. You know, we'll see him for the next couple seasons, we hope. Calling the shots underneath, but no, there's still a healthy amount of juniors on this team as well, but there's a good amount of seniors that they're going to be losing this year. That defensive presence, you know, Vince Kleinite, Dylan Bernal, Jacob Cooper, you know, Andy Cook, Michael Roth. Actually, Michael Roth's a junior, so that'll be a big name to see come back next year. But
and then also with that trio of backs that we have, Marquise Gillespie, Corvée King, and Davion Sherwin. Oh, and Jachim Marshall. 3 of those 4 are seniors.
Yeah.
So Davion will be the only returning one next year.
Expect to see a big season out of Davion next year. And there's obviously plenty of guys who are going to pick up. That seems to be the mantra here, next man up. And you're seeing a lot of guys get opportunities. As this drive will start with a pitch to Joe Walker.
But this defense, despite being up by so much, they are not giving up. And
no, they're
still coming full force.
Pedal to the metal at all times. As we've hit the 2-minute mark here left in the third quarter from South Elgin High School. I'm Andy Jachim alongside Darrell Barnes, Beacon Academy broadcast of the homecoming night football game. Under the lights here at South Elgin High School, the third ever game under the lights. 3rd out of 4 this season. Come back in a couple weeks. It'll be senior night on the 25th. Handoff here. That'll be a healthy pickup. And a Glenbard South first down. And that was taken by Marion Wilson. Another senior for Glenbard South who's contributed to their running game here tonight.
Yep, and I was just looking at the Daily Herald just here a second ago as we were talking about the seniors, and a senior on the defensive side of the ball, Dylan Bernal, was the Daily Herald Player of the Week last week, the week of October 3rd. So that's another name that the Storm are going to be missing next year. Yeah, but he's a name that's always in the paper, and that's something that certainly Coach Tionic likes to see and the school likes to see is another big pickup there.
It'll be Marion Wilson again.
Looks
he's rattled off a couple nice runs.
Yeah, Glenbard's starting to pick up some momentum. Sorry, stumbling on my words here. Glenbard's starting to pick up some momentum now.
Starting to pick up some momentum, but at an extremely late time in the game for them, even though we haven't hit the fourth quarter yet. As being down 8 touchdowns will do that to you. And it seems like Coach Christie's going to take his guys off the field. Take this into the fourth quarter with the clock ticking down. With that being said, so wrap up the third quarter here from South Elgin High School. The South Elgin Storm leading the Glenbard South Raiders by a score of 56-0. So what are we looking at here going into this fourth quarter, Darrell?
Well,
as if we don't know what we're looking at already.
It seems to be another one of those games similar to the first game that we called here a couple of Fridays ago against Elgin, the Maroons, where it's really a game to see if Glenbard South can score against this defense.
I guess that's the battle now, is if they can put up a score here against this potent Storm defense who have outscored their opponents. I believe it's like 357-0. Might be even more at this point.
Yeah.
Or to 7, I should say. 1 touchdown allowed to Glenbard East 2 weeks ago, which was a huge win for them. They had lost by the same score, 35-7 last year on the 2018 homecoming night for South Elgin at home, and they went back to Glenbard East for their homecoming night and won by a score of 35-0.
Yep, and I believe that number actually is 371.
371. It's gone up. 371-7. So I guess the big question will be, is a 500-point season possible out of this Storm offense? They're 130 off. I think it's a possibility.
It's definitely a plausible action. We'll just have to see if Coach Tionic allows it to happen, or if the opposing defensives, if Bartlett and if Fenton allow it to happen.
That'll be interesting to see with Bartlett. You know, they've put together a very solid season. Have to check and see if they've lost a game this year, but they've played some very smooth football as well.
Yeah, and you can look at, what is it? Was it Bartlett that was the only team to beat
Glenbard South, and it was by a score of 49-14.
Yeah, so Bartlett won't be a slump when they play South Elgin next Friday at Bartlett.
They're 5-1 on the season. They did beat West Chicago 63-7 last week. But they've also had quite the season on their hands. Their one loss was to the Glenbard East Rams by a score of 24-21. Other than that, they've done a nice job of taking care of their opponents. Big hit.
And you can hear the whole crowd giving oohs and ahs after that one. Seems like they felt a little bit of that hit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so let's actually take a look at this hit one more time.
That hit was put on Marion Wilson, who's seen a lot of the touches here in the second half for the Raiders.
Let's see this replay. And yeah, that was just a big hit. I think that was number 25. No, not sure who that was for the Storm, but was a good hit nonetheless.
As
and
Wilson picks up yet another first down for the Raiders.
Yep, starting to string together a few of these.
Is it possible Marion Wilson's the guy who puts in a touchdown against the Storm defense for the second time this year? He's been running like he wants to. As I say that, he's taken off the field. Maybe grab a breather here for a play or two. And he's dropped back, handoff, and a push through, and a gain of about a couple.
So now, Andy, we see that the Storm up 56-0, 6-0 in the conference thus far, looking to be 7-0 is looking like. But they are in the Upstate 8.
The Upstate 8.
We had similar success last year, but then got bounced in the first round of the playoffs by West Aurora.
That's what I was mentioning earlier. We don't obviously West Aurora isn't here anymore. As a pickup of like maybe one for the Raiders, that would be Wilson on the carry. But yeah, obviously the Upstate 8 I mentioned in the pregame. You know, they've lost about 5 schools. They've lost the last two years. 4 schools bounced 2 years ago. It'd be St. Charles East, St. Charles North, Batavia, Geneva. 4 very, very strong schools in the athletic department all around. All 4 are pretty well balanced and have been playing well in the new Duquesne Conference. And then this past season, West Aurora, and they've been in the Upstate 8, which seemed like forever. I mean, I remember going in their gym and seeing, Upstate 8 conference champions like 1930. So, they've been in the conference since the World Wars. So it's been crazy to see that. And now that they're out and they're off with the Oswego schools, and it's kind of just left South Elgin here as another gain of nothing for the Raiders.
Yeah, but then
set up fourth down.
So that raises the question of whether this kind of success will follow them into the postseason, because we look on social media, on Twitter, and we have all the big sports networks, NBC, like talking about how South Elgin has these great statistics, how statistically they may be the best team in the state, but look, because of the conference that they're playing in, and you're not seeing a top 10 ranking. You're seeing a number 47 in the state. And
that's what I touched on at the beginning of the game. I think this applies to all sports, and it could apply to like basketball and baseball and other sports. In terms of like who we see, it's like, you can only play who you get put out in front of. It's one of those uncontrollable things, and it's just something the Storm have to deal with. And like when we're playing these teams, you might as well make a statement and earn that high seeding. It's because when you go into the committees for all these sports, they question your legitimacy with your schedule and other things of the such. And they'll look at the South Elgin schedule, and I feel like that's going to knock them down a few seeds, which is something they can't control. Like they're sitting there saying, hey, we're playing who's put out in front of us. There's nothing we can really do about it.
Yup, so then it'll be an interesting thing to see them going up against a higher level of competition in the playoffs and see if there is a little more back and forth going on, or if it's still the same, just shutting out opponents.
And that's the benefit for them if they were to score a higher seed, is they play a lower seeded school, but that lower seeded school could be seeing teams of the caliber that South Elgin hasn't seen. But still, I mean, with all the playmakers on the South Elgin team, I know they can handle teams of that caliber, but it'll just depend. It'll just depend on who they get drawn with in the first round.
Yep, and it'll be interesting to see, but before that, still got to finish this game. Still got 2 more games to come next Friday against Bartlett at Bartlett, and then on the 25th of October here against Fenton for senior night.
Dennis looking to throw. He's got a man just out of the reach of Noirol.
Yep, that one just a little too high. The Raiders' defensive pressure was coming for him. Made him just get it out a little quick and a little too high. And while the crowd has depleted some, the cheer team, the band, both still fully animated, doing their best to make this a night to remember.
Band's still having fun over there. And they're still having some fun with it. So we have a running clock. 4 minutes remaining here in the fourth.
And we got some flags out. Might be a false start on the Storm. Yep, and it looks like they're backing up 5. And we see Drew Bacaro back out there. We talked about how last week he scored a touchdown.
Go get you some, Drew.
Let's see if the receiver, ex-kicker.
Let's see if Drew can make a
receiver
play.
/ kicker. And let's see if we can spot him.
So he's off to your right. Far right of the screen. The tight end position. Man in motion. A little bit of an end around. Noirol has it. He's off to the races. And he gets tripped up around the 25, 20-yard line.
Yep, we talked about this earlier. Alex Norwell, the junior, he wanted to get a touchdown earlier, but he scored a touchdown, but it was called back. Let's take a look again at this play again. Just running, showing that he wants to get that score back. He wants to put a touchdown in the books tonight.
That was Mark Johnson to trip him up, and it'll put the Storm back in shop at the 15-yard line. With less than 2.5 minutes remaining in this one. This will send him out. He'll go same play to Noirol. Still on his feet, and he waltzes into the end zone for another Storm touchdown. I believe that is the 9th touchdown of the evening.
And there he goes.
62-0.
Let's get a replay of this. Alex finally gets his touchdown, and you look at number 44, Ryan Dill Alcazar. He basically just gives up because he knows that there's no use. They're going to get in the end zone.
That's second touchdown of the night for Noirol. Both of them he's walked in untouched, as that's pretty much been most of the South Elgin touchdowns up to this point.
And score now 62-0.
So it doesn't look like they're going to reach that 65-point mark that they had in their first game. And Carl sends the next one through the uprights. It'll be 63-0.
So now the Storm Nation pep band, marching band actually, and the dance team celebrating what looks to be a huge win here for the Storm.
Say huge in terms of like how much they won by?
In terms of score differential, I would say that.
And they're just going to line it up already. Yeah, they are. Glenbard South's pretty much had enough here. Still 20 seconds left on the clock, but they're already in the handshake line. That'll end it for us here tonight. As final score, South Elgin 63, Glenbard South nothing. So a homecoming win for the Storm. Pretty much everyone in the offense seemed to play a role, and it seemed like almost every offensive starter was able to score a touchdown. Big games from a lot. Alex Noirol, interception on the defense side of the ball, and was able to have 2 rushing touchdowns. You saw Davion Sherwin and Marquise Gillespie each rip off 80-yard runs.
Back-to-back, I might
4
add.
touchdowns on back-to-back possessions that we both called. It was just a good team win. Defense looked stellar as always. Do we have an updated math margin? We do. It is South Elgin has scored 378 points this season, and they've allowed a whopping 7. So they have differential 371.
Yep, and that's
My
the
math
top
stands
mark.
correct.
That's the top mark in the state of Illinois.
And now we see as the Storm will sing the fight song to the few fans that stuck around to the end here in the cold. And that'll wrap things up here tonight for the Beacon Academy broadcast. Once again, appreciating everyone that was able to put this together for us, making our job super easy up here. I'm Andy Jachim alongside Darrell Barnes, and until next time, we'll see you guys later.
This sports broadcast made possible by contributions from the following. The Bear Family McDonald's, proud supporters of our community since 1967. Custom Heating and Cooling of Chicagoland, a factory authorized Bryant dealer, whatever it takes. Find them online at customheating.com. Rosen Hyundai of Algonquin, looking for a brand new Hyundai or certified pre-owned? Save time, shop online at rosenhyundai.com. Tom the Plumber is your family-owned and operated company committed to providing plumbing service and installations of the highest quality and craftsmanship. Tom the Plumber, honest and affordable. Visit Tom online at tomtheplumberinc.com. Carpentry with integrity, providing unparalleled customer relationships and precise quality craftsmanship since 1998. Find us on Facebook and House. Darrell Barnes Photography. For sports, senior portraits, family, and more, call Darrell Barnes Photography for all your photographic needs. Find Darrell online at darrellbarnes.com. Buffalo Wild Wings. Visit their locations in Algonquin and Hoffman Estates for some award-winning wings spun in one of 21 sauces or dry rubs. Or try a tasty burger or wrap. There's something for everyone at Buffalo Wild Wings in Hoffman Estates at Route 59 and 72 or Algonquin on Randall Road.